I'm Matt Foley, Director of Content Studio, representing a series of projects we worked on at Ashford High School in Melbourne's East. These projects complete the transformation of a trade school into one of Melbourne's top performing high schools. The first two projects are complete and the third is documented and waiting on funding. Just wanted to say thank you to my co-pilots and content on this project, Alan, Ben and Sarah. Ashford High School is located on an open parkland site 15 kilometres from Melbourne on Wurundjeri land. It shares a site with wetlands to the south, sports fields to the east and a primary school to the northeast. Boundaries are porous between the school and the surrounds, and it's used by local dog walkers and residents. The setting and the porous boundaries give the school a sense of spatial generosity. Main entry is off Vanham Drive. It's becoming very cluttered as the school enrolment numbers are increasing, and it's becoming dangerous at pick up and drop off. So we did basically identify the opportunity to reorientate the school towards High Street there in the south. The existing school buildings create a visually weak street presence to Vanham Drive, and that was something that the client definitely wanted us to address. A central landscaped axis runs through the school, and that was actually done by our predecessors, Badasso Cortese, in the 2010s. They also did a number of buildings on the site. The landscape is well established. This is Block G. It's the last of the trade school buildings. It had become adrift from the school and the rest of the school at the southern edge of the site. And it featured underutilised workshop spaces, woodwork, metal turning. The old machinery was pretty cool, but as the school became more academic with a focus on newer technologies, these rooms were becoming neglected. When the current principal started, there was 300 students. When we began on the project, it was just under 700. It's now approaching 1,000. These swelling numbers were moving through the school like a wave. The school lacked the space as well as the focus for this wave of students as they approached the senior years. The circular progression of the years through the school building led to an open area in yellow to the south. This had been left empty after an old building had burnt down. This became the site of our first project, a new senior years STEM and research centre. Infilling this location had the benefit of reconnecting Block G, the industrial building in yellow, back into the school. And the refurbishment of this building became our second project. The third project is a new access way and connection to High Street down there in purple. And funnily enough, that was actually when we started on the project, the main brief. Budget started at 500,000 for that and then ended up somewhere a lot larger. The design connects the first two projects to each other and back to the school through a STEM link highlighted there in blue. It became the main circulation path for students and their staging point before and after class. With lockers for 850 students, the importance of this area became more and more pronounced as the design evolved. The new STEAM and Research Centre is a focus for the senior years. It delineates the senior years from middle years through architecture, creating gravitas as studies become more important. It also plays a role in transitioning senior year students to the world after school. New technology and science-focused classrooms encircle a double-height atrium. The new library is both a place to study and to hold events for the school community. It's highlighted there in purple. The atrium is an exhibition and collaboration space for the visual arts, technology and science programs. The old trades building, we converted the workshops into art and fabrication studios. We added extra external circulation in the form of a veranda to the north, tied into the stem. On the first floor, south-facing art theory and integrated technology classrooms orientate around the double-height atrium, looking out over the wetlands. Externally, we worked with Simon Ellis Landscape Architects, connecting the new projects to the school's network of paths and interlocking gathering spaces to classrooms. These milling areas were really important to the school, preparing students before they entered class. The siding of the building takes advantage of the existing topography with a 3-metre fall from north to south. The north-facing single-level library reflects the low-rise administration buildings opposite. The west facade follows the natural topography down towards the wetland, and the split level form exaggerates this fall to create a sweeping brick facade. The approach to minimise the environmental and cultural impacts of excavation, allowing us to retain spoil on site and ensure that overland flows to the wetlands below were not disrupted. The west facade can be glimpsed through established cypress trees from Vannon Drive, helping to strengthen the school's visual identity from the street as briefed. The south-facing elevation rears up, looking out over the wetlands with 2 levels of classrooms. Internally, a double-height atrium provides the main circulation, but it's also the heart of the art and technology programs as a gallery and collaboration space. So space has been designed with acoustic projection and exhibition lighting systems. The library in the senior year is the senior year study hall and also an event space for the school community. Joinery platforms provide smaller group and individual study areas. Oops, might want to just go back one, Ben. It's also the space, it's also the shelves for the more traditional part of the library. Classrooms are distinguished by colour to help define the identity for the different teaching programs. Science rooms are blue. Tech rooms are green in Fab Labs, and the art theory classroom is orange. Windows framed views of the extensive tree canopy beyond. And that was one really lovely thing about this site, was the existing trees which we were able to take advantage of throughout the siding of the buildings. The converted workshops in Block G retain some of their industrial quality. And a couple of the workshops have been retrained and upgraded just to keep this link to the heritage of the school. This is the STEM link and the student staging point connecting the 2 buildings. The corridor in Block G links to the space, and because of this, you can have up to 800 students creating some pretty intense energy before and after class in these areas. We worked really hard to dissipate by designing secondary external circulation, in this case the veranda outside Block G. We used brickwork. It allowed us to create the monumental curved facade. The textured aluminium sheet cladding gave us a rich contrast to the pale brick and the green of the surrounding tree canopy, as did the painted reflective FC sheet. This is one of the gathering areas outside classrooms. They are orientated to take advantage of the shade provided by the extensive existing tree cover. And another gathering area on the left-hand side in the middle there. The existing tree canopy is also providing shade to the west elevation from the afternoon sun. So the project delivers 20 new classrooms, a new library, Fab Labs and workshops, and a double-storey gallery atrium to support an inclusive, student-focused educational environment. I'd like to thank Brett Moore and his staff at Ashwood High School, and also the Wurundjeri for working with us on what was a relatively tricky site because of the wetlands below. Thank you.
Great, thanks.